Infinity Blade is a trilogy of mobile video games that was released exclusively for Apple devices. The first game was released in the year 2010, and the other two installments followed in 2011 and 2013. There were also two books written that expanded the lore of the multifaceted story of Infinity Blade. I used to play Infinity Blade when it first released, and I, as a child, was mesmerized by the world that appeared before me on the iPad screen. Unfortunately, Infinity Blade sank into oblivion after its creators abandoned it, but this day everything changes, as I'm about to tell you the story of Infinity Blade. In the not-too-distant future, humans have advanced a great deal in their technological pursuits, many of which are attributable to a genius inventor and businessman, Mr. Galeth. Under his leadership, the company introduced the world to a number of technological feats, including, with perhaps the most impressive, the invention of inorganic teleportation under the name of Project Omega. One man working at Mr. Galeth's company was an actuary named Uriel. He was a brilliant, though antisocial man, with a family he unintentionally neglected due to his tendency to stay late at the office. Then once something started happening, and members of Uriel's team were being reassigned to a different, top-secret project. After some investigating, Uriel confronted his co-worker named Adrim. When asked, Adrim said, "I'm gonna live forever," implying that they were developing a method to modify somebody's soul, quantum identity pattern, to become immortal. Troubled with this knowledge, Uriel came home from work early to find comfort in his family. To his surprise, he found his wife in the midst of having an affair with Adrim. At the sight of Uriel, Adrim attempted to flee the scene in his car, but instead ran over Juri, Uriel's son, by accident. Upon seeing his lifeless son, Uriel was thrown into a violent rage and swiftly murdered Adrim on the spot. After this, all seemed lost. His wife was a cheat, his son was on the brink of death. However, Uriel realized there was a solution to his problem, the Omega Project. Uriel brought Juri's body to Galeth and asked him and his scientists to bring back his son as a deathless. Galeth valued the idea of raising a youth with no preconceptions and agreed to grant Juri immortality. In his final moments with Juri, Uriel admonished his son to be a force for good. "The world is a broken, ruined place," Uriel said. "I want you to make it better. Stop them from fighting, son. Take away their guns and their bombs. They don't deserve what they've been given. Mankind had a chance to reach the stars, but all they did was use that ability to cast down fire upon one another. Eyes always downward, never toward the lights above." "I'm scared," Juri said. "I know." Uriel kissed him on the forehead, the only beautiful thing left in the world. Uriel took off his wristwatch, including the data chips. "Take this. Look at the numbers. Understand them. Read what I have written. It is all you have of me. Be a king, son. Be a king." Juri took this to heart, and it became his new identity, the God King.
"The world will destroy itself,"
Galeth said.
"It does this periodically. I simply intend to ride that wave of destruction, to shape what develops next."
Galeth, now revealed to be an immortal, is shown to have witnessed and guided the destruction of the world with his technology. From the ashes they would rise and take control of the world. The deathless he created would rule their own territories. Granted the title, the Worker of Secrets, after his creation of the Infinity Blade, he ruled humanity unchallenged with the help of fellow deathless, Ossar the Vile. For dozens of these cycles, he destroyed and ruled the world in this fashion. The Infinity Blade was the symbol of the king of the deathless. Whoever possessed this blade was essentially unstoppable. This is because the Infinity Blade is the killer of gods. It is the only weapon, when fully charged, that could kill the unkillable. Every single deathless feared, but also coveted this blade. The worker, being an incomprehensibly ancient being, assumed that he would eventually have to betray Ossar. The worker believed He understood Ausar and calculated when that moment was. Ausar, however, betrayed the worker himself and was able to lock the worker in the Vault of Tears, beginning a new rule. Unfortunately for Ausar, his rule was short-lived. A rival deathless, Raedriar, once known as Juri, challenged Ausar and defeated him on the plains of Koroth. Using the Infinity Blade he won from Ausar. The world believed Ausar dead, as the Infinity Blade was said to slay any deathless in its path. Unbeknownst to Raedriar, Ausar was not dead. He was reborn. When Ausar locked the worker in the Vault of Tears, the worker somehow managed to use a device known as the Redeemer on Ausar. The Redeemer was a device designed by the worker that was to be used with the Infinity Blade. Upon activation, it would reincarnate a deathless into a newborn with no memories of its past. Ausar, who discovered this device after the worker used it on him, had filed it away inside his castle, the Vault of Tears, not fully understanding its true potential. And so Ausar would lose the battle to God King. And because the Redeemer had been used on him, he would be reborn as an infant. So while the world believed that Ausar was gone for good, he had another chance at life. Decades had passed, and the God King had taken over the land. Humanity was little more than deathless slaves at this point, yet they still managed a small resistance in the form of a sacrifice. Every generation, the people of Lantimor would send one of their own into the depths of the God King's castle. They hoped that he could slay the tyrant and bring peace to the land. Their first sacrifice, known as the Ancestor, died at the hands of the God King, and for dozens of generations the sacrifice, descended from the same bloodline, would try to kill the tyrant. Finally, a warrior by the name of Cyrus defeated the God King, using the Infinity Blade to kill its owner. Raedriar's last words were, "They will be coming for you now," implying that other Deathless would hunt Cyrus for the blade. After this, Cyrus examined the God King's chambers, and he came across a holographic image of the world, showing the extensive damage done to it. Shortly thereafter, while exploring the castle, Cyrus came across a pedestal where he placed the Infinity Blade. This unlocked 3 secret dungeons, each holding a cursed, deathless king. Cyrus killed them all with the Infinity Blade, and upon clearing the 3rd dungeon, a massive door opened. Within this dungeon, Cyrus discovered 7 cloned, inanimate versions of the God King. He was inside of liquid green cylinders. Cyrus had found Raedriar's rebirth chamber. Upon entry, an armored mech confronted Cyrus. Cyrus managed to disable it, and a person was revealed inside of it. This stranger did not reveal his name, although it was Archaran, but indicated that he was once a sacrifice, and was offered the choice by the God King to serve him, which he accepted. Cyrus was infuriated at this story. It violated everything he fought for, and so Cyrus shouted, "You're a traitor to our blood, our calling, our people!" They dueled, and Cyrus bested Archaran. As Archaran died, he said that the God King would claim what is rightfully his, and when he gets the Infinity Blade, he will be unstoppable. Cyrus responded with, "I'll be waiting." Towards the end of Cyrus's stay at the castle, he came across another human, Issa. She was a foreigner and a rogue who came to the castle in search of the Infinity Blade. She attacked Cyrus, but he bested her. Cyrus spared Issa's life because she promised to lead Cyrus to the Vault of Tears. Cyrus had heard that the Worker of Secrets knew how to kill Deathless, and was a vigilante like himself. Little did he know that the Worker of Secrets was his sworn enemy. He had no recollection of his past life as Ausar. Cyrus and Issa went to Sidhe, an information dealer. They needed the exact location of the vault. Sidhe gave them the location, but then attacked Cyrus. Cyrus killed her with the Infinity Blade. Behind the corpse of Sidhe was a pedestal. It was identical to the one that unlocked the God King's rebirth system chamber. Cyrus placed the Infinity Blade on the pedestal, and then it sank into the ground. Radriar came out from behind Cyrus with the Infinity Blade, having successfully tricked Cyrus into giving him the blade. As Radriar prepared to kill Cyrus, Issa shot Cyrus from the distance with her crossbow, under the presumption that Cyrus was deathless himself. Cyrus was reborn in the nearest rebirth system chamber, confirming his immortality. How, he did not know. Cyrus proceeded to the region where the Vault of Tears was located. Cyrus fought his way through dozens of titans as he made his way to the top of the highest tower. There he met the deathless Thane, who guarded the vault. Cyrus bested Thane. In order to unlock the vault, he had to thrust his arm into the 4 seals throughout the tower. The first seal was where Cyrus bested Thane. Cyrus unlocked it and slumped to the ground, temporarily dead. He awoke in the nearest rebirth system chamber. It was then when he came to an alarming realization. All those years, going to face the God King in the palace, each time, each bloodline was me. Cyrus then went to the tower 3 more times, unlocking the 3 main seals, each guarded by a blood sentinel, and dying 3 more times. He began to accumulate a hazy memory of his past life, but he could not put everything together. After opening all the seals, Cyrus returned to the top of the tower, ready to free the Worker of Secrets. Cyrus placed his sword at the top of the tower, and the floor began to descend in an elevator-like fashion. And so, finally, Cyrus has found the Worker of Secrets, sitting upon a stone throne. The Worker, realizing that Osar did not remember anything, told Cyrus that he needed another Deathless to take his place. The Worker needed Radriar. Cyrus returned to Sideke's territory, where Radriar was currently residing. After a long duel, Cyrus knocked Radriar out, took the Infinity Blade, and carried Radriar to the Vault of Tears. Upon Cyrus's arrival, the Worker reveals that Cyrus was the one who trapped him in the vault. He takes the Infinity Blade from Cyrus, ascends away from the vault, effectively trapping Cyrus and Radriar in the vault for the rest of eternity. Both of the Worker's greatest threats were removed, and his conquest of world domination would be easier than ever. The Worker, now with free reign, decided to take over the world by stealth. He created minions, such as the soulless Radriar, to impersonate the real ruler, and so manipulate the world into his own rule. Cyrus was trapped, but Issa was not. She formed a group of rebels in the last-ditch effort to stop the Worker. She came to the Vault of Tears and freed Cyrus and Radriar from the vault after 2 years of imprisonment. Radriar joined them in order to defeat the Worker and set up a device called the Pinnacle of Sanctification to turn mortals into deathless. Issa was the first rebel to become a deathless, but before more could be made, the Worker bombed the resistance. Issa died for the first time, but she awoke from death later. Sadly, all of the resistance was permanently eradicated except for Cyrus, Radriar, and Issa. While Issa was being reformed, Radriar decided to go on a quest to kill the Worker of Secrets by himself, taking the Infinity Blade. The Worker was residing at the Ark, a large, futuristic tower of unknown capabilities. The God King made it to the Ark, and he challenged the Worker to a duel. Instead, he sent some of his minions to fight Radriar. The God King easily bested all the opponents, but the last one turned out to be Adram, now known as Ashimar. Radriar thanked him for the kindness that he showed him during his youth, perhaps recounting some moment that happened after both became deathless, and Adram, feeling guilt, decided to try and atone for the sin that he has done prior, when the world was a completely different place. In the end, however, the two had to fight, as Ashimar feared the Worker too much. Once Radriar had defeated him, he took his weapon, which turned out to be an Infinity Blade. Another Infinity Blade. The Worker revealed that he had begun replicating the Infinity Blade, and so the two dueled, each with an Infinity Blade. The Worker bested Radriar and told him to join the cause, but the God King denied. remembering his father and having hope in Cyrus. In a sacrificial move, Radriar stole a datapod containing vital information about the worker and teleported it to the stronghold at Larioth. Enraged, the worker killed Radriar with the Infinity Blade, bringing a true end to the God King. Several days later, Issa woke from her death. She was greeted by Cyrus, who hadn't seen Radriar since he left the hideout. Cyrus decided to go to Radriar's stronghold. Cyrus found a soulless Radriar in the castle. The impostor attacked Cyrus with an infinity weapon, but Cyrus easily bested him. However, the impostor teleported away before Cyrus could interrogate him. In the stronghold, Cyrus found the datapod Radriar sent and returned to his and Issa's hideout with the Infinity Cleaver and the datapod. After some discussion, Cyrus and Issa decided to go hunting for the other Infinity Blade weapons. Issa went to an excavation site in the Setzian desert. She found a vault with pedestals for 6 Infinity weapons. Before she could investigate further, a deathless named Taravax attacked her. She overpowered him and then interrogated him for the whereabouts of the other weapons. With this information, Cyrus and Issa split up on different missions. Issa went to rescue Jensen, a personal friend of Cyrus and a master blacksmith. With all their new weaponry, he could be vital in improving their gear. Cyrus went to the pit, a desert arena where a deathless warlord named Theron resided. Cyrus killed him and took the Infinity Spear. Once back at the hideout, Issa and Cyrus discussed their next plan. Cyrus planned to go back to the Vault of Tears. He had heard a rumor that a Redeemer was hidden somewhere inside of it. Bringing his robotic rebirth system assistant, Tal, he returned to the place that was once his prison. Tal brought Cyrus to the Redeemer. Meanwhile, Issa traveled to the Pinnacle Monastery to battle Lelendre, one of the oldest and most powerful Deathless. When they battled, Issa was quickly overpowered. However, Lelendre spared her life and told her the location of the Ark and the workers planned to destroy the world again. She also gave Issa the Infinity Daggers. When Issa and Cyrus returned to the hideout, they plotted their assault on the Ark. Cyrus configured the Redeemer with the Datapod's quantum identity pattern. The Redeemer, when put into the Infinity Blade, could now be effectively used on the Worker of Secrets. They arrived at the Ark. After killing several Titans, Cyrus reached the Worker's throne room. The Worker was with the soulless God King, and the God King was about to duel Cyrus when Issa appeared, holding him off while Cyrus could fight the Worker. Cyrus went after him, and after a long duel, Issa managed to kill the soulless God King, though quite injured. Cyrus stopped the Worker from entering his spaceship, which Worker planned to use to fly away as it destroyed the Earth, as he challenged the Worker to a duel. Cyrus, now having remembered his past life as Alzar, wanted nothing more than to stop the Worker of Secrets. As the spaceship was preparing to launch, they fought. Finally, the Worker parried Cyrus's Infinity Cleaver off with his hands and stabbed Cyrus with the Infinity Blade. At the last moment, Cyrus twisted, turned the Infinity Blade around, and stabbed the Worker. The Worker collapsed, but he laughed.
I created this blade. Do you really think it could kill me?
Cyrus responded, I never believed it would kill you, but I do believe in redemption. Cyrus put the Redeemer into the Infinity Blade, creating a massive burst of energy as the Worker of Secrets' memories were eradicated. And so the world was saved. Issa made her way to Cyrus through the flames of the launching spaceship. They teleported back to the hideout before they could become engulfed by the flames, and the spaceship launched empty. Issa and Cyrus had saved the world, but there was still one problem: Galath. They decided to raise the newborn as their own child. And thus the story of Infinity Blade came to a conclusion.